Let me ask you something. What does your evening look like after 8 p.m.? Maybe you finish dinner, sit down in front of the TV, grab a snack, pour yourself a drink, and think, this is my time to relax. It feels harmless. It feels normal. But here's the truth. If you're a man over 60, what you do after 8 p.m. can make or break your entire night. These small evening choices may be the reason you wake up at 3 a.m. staring at the ceiling, or why you roll out of bed groggy, stiff, and already tired before the day even begins. Most men assume bad sleep is just age. They shrug and say, I'm old now, of course I don't sleep well. But I need you to hear this. It's not always age, it's habits. Habits that quietly sabotage your body's ability to rest. And the most dangerous part? These habits show up exactly after 8 p.m., the very time your body is trying to prepare for deep, natural sleep. Think of 8 p.m. as a fork in the road. Down one path, you give your brain the signals it needs to wind down, darkness, calm, and recovery. Down the other path, you keep your system wired with the wrong foods, the wrong drinks, and the wrong light. One path restores you. The other steals from you. And here's the good news. Tonight, you can choose differently. In just a moment, I'll share the 3 things you must avoid after 8 p.m., 3 traps that look harmless, but can ruin your sleep, drain your energy, and even age your brain faster. Once you know them, you'll see how quickly your nights, and your mornings, can change. So before you write off your sleepless nights as just getting older, stay with me. The answer may be simpler than you think. My name is Dr. Katherine Rocker. For more than 30 years, I've worked with men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, men who built families, businesses, and communities. Strong men. Determined men. But when it came to sleep and energy, they often looked me in the eye and said, Doc, I just don't feel rested anymore. Some of them tried stronger pills. Some added another cup of coffee in the morning. Some poured themselves a nightcap before bed, hoping alcohol would carry them off to sleep. And when nothing worked, they sighed and said, I guess this is just old age, but let me tell you something I've seen again and again, it wasn't old age robbing their rest. It was what they were doing at night. Simple habits, repeated after 8 p.m., that were quietly sending the wrong signals to their bodies. Signals that kept their brains awake when they should have been winding down. That's why I'm here, not just as a doctor, but as a companion on this road. Because your body hasn't forgotten how to sleep. It hasn't lost the ability to rest deeply. What it needs is for you to stop tripping it up after dark. And that's what we're going to uncover together. 3 things, just 3, that you need to avoid after 8 p.m. if you want to reclaim your nights. And the best part? These changes cost nothing. They require no prescription. They simply ask you to give your body the chance it's been waiting for. So let's walk through them together. And as you listen, think about your own evenings. Because chances are, you'll recognize yourself in what I'm about to share. Let me introduce you to George. He's 69, a retired mechanic from Ohio. George is the kind of man who could fix anything with his hands. Engines, transmissions, farm equipment, you name it. But when it came to fixing his own sleep, he felt powerless. When George first came to see me, he looked worn down. He said, Doc, I don't get it. I go to bed every night. I close my eyes. But I wake up in the morning more tired than when I went to sleep. I asked him to walk me through his evenings. His answer could have been pulled straight from so many men's lives. Dinner around 7:30, big plates of meat and potatoes, often followed by dessert. Afterward, he'd collapse into his recliner, TV on loud, the bright screen filling the room. By 10:30, he'd pour himself a glass of whiskey. "It helps me relax," he told me. Sometimes he'd snack again, cookies, chips, whatever was nearby. Midnight would roll around before he finally shuffled off to bed. But when he lay down, his body wasn't ready for rest. His stomach was still digesting, his blood sugar was climbing, and his brain was buzzing from the bright light. He'd drift off, only to wake up at 2 or 3 a.m., restless and frustrated. By morning, he was groggy, stiff, and already craving coffee just to function. What hurt George the most wasn't just the exhaustion. It was the belief that this was his fate. He said to me, "Doc, maybe this is just what happens when you get older. Maybe good sleep is behind me." But I knew it wasn't. George wasn't broken. His age wasn't the problem. His problem was the 3 traps he kept falling into after 8 p.m., the very habits stealing his nights before he even reached the pillow. And once he saw that, everything began to change. Why is 8 p.m. such a turning point? Why do the hours after dinner have so much power over how you sleep, how you wake, and how you feel the next day? The answer lies in how your body clock, your circadian rhythm, works. Think of your body as a factory. During the day, everything is running full speed, digesting food, producing energy, keeping you alert. But once the evening comes, the factory is supposed to slow down, switch off the heavy machinery, and let the night crew, repair and restoration, take over. That switch usually starts around 8 p.m. Here's what should happen naturally. As the sun sets, your brain begins releasing melatonin, the hormone that tells your body, it's time to rest. Your heart rate slows, your blood pressure drops, and your digestive system prepares to take a back seat. Your body wants calm, darkness, and stillness. But here's the problem: when you eat late, flood your eyes with bright light, or add stimulants like alcohol or caffeine, you send the opposite message. Instead of winding down, your body thinks it's still daytime. The night crew never clocks in, and you lose the deep repair your brain and body desperately need. Let's break it down. Food after 8 p.m. A heavy meal or sugary snack spikes insulin and forces your digestive system to stay on high alert. Instead of resting, your body is working overtime. That's why you toss and turn with a full stomach. Light after 8 p.m., bright screens, phones, or even overhead bulbs suppress melatonin. It's like shining a flashlight in your brain, telling it, stay awake. No melatonin means no deep sleep. Drinks after 8 p.m. Alcohol may make you drowsy, but it blocks REM sleep, the stage where your brain clears toxins and consolidates memory. Caffeine lingers for hours, keeping your nervous system wired long after you're in bed. The truth is, your body is not against you. After 8 p.m., it's begging for rest. But if you give it the wrong signals, you sabotage its natural design. That's why George's evenings were failing him. His late meals, bright screens, and whiskey weren't small indulgences, they were signals keeping his body stuck in daytime mode. And until he changed them, no pill or gadget could restore his sleep. So when we talk about 3 things to avoid after 8 p.m., it isn't just a list of don'ts. It's about protecting that fragile window of time when your brain is trying to hand you the gift of deep, natural sleep. Now let's get practical. If you're a man over 60 and you want better sleep, sharper mornings, and steadier energy, there are 3 traps you must avoid after 8 p.m. They seem small, but they can wreck your night before you even hit the pillow. 1. Heavy meals and sugary snacks. George used to eat dinner late, sometimes with a big bowl of ice cream around 10 o'clock. He thought it was harmless, a little treat before bed. But here's the problem: late, heavy food keeps your digestive system running overtime. Your stomach churns, your blood sugar spikes, and insulin rises. Instead of entering rest mode, your body is locked into work mode. That's why men who eat after 8 often find themselves tossing and turning, waking up sweaty, or needing the bathroom in the middle of the night. Better choice: finish dinner earlier if you can. If hunger strikes after 8 p.m., reach for something light and gentle on the stomach, like a small handful of nuts or a piece of fruit. But the real secret? Give your digestive system the break it deserves, so your body can shift into recovery mode. 2. Screens and bright light. This one is sneaky. You may think you're relaxing by watching TV, scrolling on your phone, or reading on a bright tablet. But your brain doesn't see relaxation, it sees daylight. That blue light streaming into your eyes tells your brain, stay awake, don't make melatonin. And if melatonin doesn't rise, you don't fall into deep sleep, even if you feel tired. George would often sit in front of the TV until nearly midnight. He said, "Doc, I don't know why I can't fall asleep, I'm exhausted." The answer was simple: his brain thought it was still daytime. Better choice: after 8 p.m., dim the lights. Turn off overhead bulbs. Switch to lamps with warm tones. If you must use a phone or tablet, put on a blue light filter, but the best move is to unplug altogether. Pick up a book, listen to music, or talk with someone you love. 3. Alcohol and caffeine. Nightcaps. Here's the biggest myth: a glass of wine or whiskey helps you sleep. Yes, it may make you drowsy, but it does something dangerous: it breaks up your sleep cycles. You may fall asleep quickly, but you'll wake up again and again through the night, never reaching the deep stages where your brain repairs itself. George used to pour a drink at 10:30, telling himself, "This will help me relax," but it only left him groggy in the morning, with shallow, fragmented sleep. And caffeine? Even if you drink it in the afternoon, it can still linger in your system by bedtime. A cup of coffee with dessert or even dark chocolate after dinner is enough to keep your nervous system wired past midnight. Better choice: trade the nightcap for something that truly relaxes your body, like a warm cup of chamomile tea, lemon balm tea, or even just warm water. These drinks soothe your nervous system instead of sabotaging it. The bottom line: these 3 traps, heavy late meals, bright screens, and alcohol or caffeine, are the silent thieves of sleep. They look harmless, but together they rob your body of the rest it needs to recharge. And here's the best part: avoiding them doesn't mean giving up joy. It means swapping habits that steal from you for habits that give back. And the difference you'll feel, sometimes in just a week, is life. I want you to imagine 2 men. Both are 68 years old. Both finish dinner at 7:30. Both want a good night's sleep. But from 8 p.m. onward, their paths split, and the difference is night and day. Man A, the old routine: he eats a second helping of dessert, then sinks into his recliner. The TV glows until nearly midnight. At 10:30, he pours a glass of whiskey, telling himself, "This will help me sleep." He scrolls his phone in bed until his eyelids finally get heavy. At 2 a.m., he wakes up. His stomach is unsettled, his bladder is full, and his mind is buzzing. He falls back asleep for a bit, only to wake again before dawn. When the morning comes, he drags himself out of bed groggy, stiff, and frustrated. Another day begins already half lost. Man B, the new rhythm: he finishes dinner and takes a short walk outside. At 8 p.m., he dims the lights, turns off the TV, and puts his phone away. By 9, he's sipping a cup of chamomile tea, his body already unwinding. His eyes grow heavy naturally, and when he slips into bed at 10, his brain is ready for deep sleep. He doesn't wake up 3 or 4 times. He sleeps through. And when morning comes, he rises with steady energy, clear focus, and a sense of calm he hasn't felt in years. Two men. Same age. Same dinner. Different choices. Different lives. One continues believing age stole his rest. The other proves it was never age, it was the habits after 8 p.m. And here's the truth, you have the same choice tonight. The path you pick after 8 p.m. decides what kind of morning you'll wake into. Now, whenever I talk to men about avoiding these evening traps, I hear the same lines again and again. And maybe you've said one of them yourself. Let's take a closer look. Excuse 1. I deserve a snack after a long day. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. You finish dinner, you feel like you've earned that bowl of ice cream, that handful of chips, or that slice of pie. But here's the truth, late snacks don't reward you, they punish you. They spike your blood sugar, force your stomach to keep working, and guarantee restless sleep. You don't wake up rewarded. You wake up robbed. Excuse 2. Alcohol helps me relax. Yes, a glass of wine or whiskey can make you feel drowsy. But drowsy is not the same as rested. Alcohol may help you fall asleep, but it breaks your sleep apart into shallow fragments. You never get into the deep cycles where your brain and body restore themselves. That's why so many men say, I had a nightcap and fell asleep fast, but I woke up feeling awful. Excuse 3. I can't unwind without the TV. This one is almost universal. You sit down, the TV flickers, and you think, this helps me switch off. But in reality, the bright light and constant stimulation do the exact opposite. Your brain stays alert, your melatonin stays suppressed, and when you finally go to bed, your body is still in wake mode. Excuse 4. This is just what happens with age. This one breaks my heart. Because it's not true. Poor sleep isn't a destiny, it's a pattern. And patterns can be changed. I've seen men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s reclaim full, restful nights simply by changing their habits after 8 p.m. The bottom line: excuses feel comfortable in the moment, but they cost you your mornings. And the truth is, your body is still capable of deep, natural sleep. The only question is, are you willing to give it a fair chance? One of the first things men ask me is, Doc, if I stop these habits, how soon will I actually feel different? The encouraging truth is, much sooner than you think. Your body is always listening, and when you finally give it the right signals, it responds quickly. After 7 days, the first signs of relief. By the end of the first week, most men notice they're falling asleep a little easier. That bloated, restless feeling after heavy dinners begins to fade. Instead of lying awake until midnight, you find yourself nodding off closer to 10 or 10:30. Some men even wake up surprised, saying, Doc, I actually slept through the night for the first time in months. After 14 days, deeper, more consistent rest, 2 weeks in, the transformation becomes clear. You're not just falling asleep faster, you're staying asleep longer. That 2 a.m. wake up becomes less frequent. You wake in the morning without the same fog or heaviness. George, my patient from Ohio, told me, my wife said I don't pace the hallways at night anymore. She said I look rested. That's the power of consistency. After 30 days, a new rhythm takes hold. By the 1-month mark, this isn't a test, it's your new normal. Your brain's circadian clock resets, your melatonin rises on schedule, and your body anticipates rest at the same time each night. You no longer fight for sleep, it meets you halfway. Mornings feel steady, energy lasts longer through the day, and even memory and focus sharpen. For many men, blood pressure improves and mood stabilizes too. Here's the truth: 7 days gives you hope, 14 days restores your rhythm, and 30 days rewrites the way your body handles night and day. It's not age holding you back, it's patterns. And patterns can change faster than you realize. One thing I've learned after decades of caring for men is this: change is easier when you don't do it alone. The truth is, there are thousands of men across the country facing the same struggles you are: restless nights, groggy mornings, and the frustration of believing it's just age. But here's the difference. When men begin to share their stories, something shifts. Suddenly, you realize you're not the only one who reaches for a late snack, or pours a nightcap, or keeps the TV running until midnight. You see yourself in other men's routines, and you see the possibility of change in their victories. I've watched this happen in support groups and even in small conversations. One man says, "I cut out the late whiskey, and for the first time in years I woke up without a headache." Another replies, "I tried dimming the lights, and my wife said I looked calmer by bedtime." Each story becomes fuel for the next. That's why I want to invite you into this conversation. Right here, in this community, your story matters. Share in the comments. What's the hardest habit for you to avoid after 8 p.m.? Is it the food? The screens? The drink? Be honest. Because when you put it into words, you not only commit to yourself, you give another man the courage to try. This channel isn't just about advice, it's about building a brotherhood of men who remind each other, you are not broken. You are not too old. And you are not alone. If you take nothing else from today, remember this: your nights are not gone. Deep, restorative sleep is not behind you, it's waiting for you. The only thing standing in the way are a few simple habits after 8 p.m. It's not your age. It's not that your body forgot how to sleep. It's that you've been sending it the wrong signals. Heavy food, bright screens, and late drinks don't prepare your body for rest, they sabotage it. But the good news? You can flip that script starting tonight. Imagine this: instead of waking up groggy, you rise with steady energy. Instead of dragging through the day, you move with strength and clarity. Instead of blaming age, you prove to yourself that your body still knows how to rest, it just needed the chance. So here's my challenge to you. Tonight, after 8 p.m., choose one of the 3 traps to avoid. Just one. Maybe you skip the late snack. Maybe you turn off the TV earlier. Maybe you swap the nightcap for tea. One small choice can begin a new rhythm. And if you're ready to take that step, write it down below. Comment the words, "Tonight, I choose better sleep," because when you put it into writing, it's no longer just a thought, it's a commitment. And it may inspire another man, just like you, to take his first step too. If this message spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a brother, a friend, a father who struggles through the night and thinks it's just age. Like this video so it can reach more men. And subscribe, because together, we're building a community of men who refuse to accept sleepless nights as their fate. Remember this: one choice after 8 p.m. can give you one better morning tomorrow. And a chain of better mornings can rebuild your strength, your clarity, and your life. So tonight, the choice is yours. Which path will you take?